bounce between mid, bottom, etc., is going to be a threat for Unknown. And with a mid lane Shadow Fiend, that is a very vulnerable hero to that type of roam.
We're paused, and maybe this is going to give us a little bit more breathing. Actual Twitch stream online. Sorry for missing the draft, and sorry for all of this absolute mess, but it happens. It happens. And it looks like it's happening to the Zeus at the moment, too. Currently disconnected. He should be back in shortly, but not too shortly. Give us some time.
Yeah. Give us about 2 minutes. That's what I said last time, I know. But this
like
time,
10 minutes
it's
ago.
really going to be 2 minutes. I think. I hope. Maybe.
Oh, what's here?
Oh, God. I'm pretty sure my OBS is just, like, completely messed up. Whenever I enter a new profile, it, like, semi-overwrites the last one, but only kind of.
Okay, so I think what's going to end up happening is we're moving on to Apple TV 1, and let's see if I can get this stream online.
You get ready, but don't... I guess you can just turn it on.
I'll pull the
Technically, you
trigger
can.
for Apple TV 1, and we'll see who can get up faster.
Well, I am 2 minutes and 50 seconds ahead of you, so you'll have that much time to stop the stream, I suppose.
Excellent.
We planned it out this way. All intentional, all planned.
Well, we have Zeus back in here.
No, Zeus,
So maybe-
disconnect. We're not ready, Zeus. Calm down. Calm your shit, Zeus. We know you want to bolt things, but there will be time for that later. There'll be oh so much time to bolt things a little bit later. But, yeah. Okay, we're gonna get going again, so I guess it's just gonna be us struggling on the sidelines while these teams actually play. Taking a look at the lanes, and it looks like Unknown are going to be running pure and simple dual lanes. Mirana doesn't have boots or anything like that, doesn't have a turbo amount of clarity, so she's gonna chuck a few arrows and hope something connects.
For the EGX side, they're also going to be running simple dual lanes, although theirs in bottom is absolutely nasty. Undying Viper is a lane I wouldn't wish on to anybody, really. They'll find the Clockwork up towards top, or maybe Clockwork's found them. They get an arrow to connect onto Wop, and Wop is going to end up going down. One more smack from Greedy's hook, and that's going to be first blood drawn by Unknown.
And such an easy setup, mostly because Vengeful Spirit did all the setup for them. The Clockwork walked right into the Venge, put up the cogs, and at that point, there's no way in hell that you're actually going to survive that. Did I just go online? That buzzing of the phone. Oh my god, it seemed to have worked, maybe. Yes, we're working. We're on live, guys. Again, so sorry for these delays and such, but you didn't miss that much. You don't have to see the draft. That's boring.
The entirety of the next couple of games on stream, and oh, it looks like there's going to be another arrow up towards the top lane, catching out Pain, and he is going to be in a whole lot of that. Even though Battery Assault's absorbed a little bit by the creep wave, the damage is still there. And even though I question the Mirana pickup in the draft, if you can land arrows as consistently as Ztok has been doing thus far, it might just work out for them. Shadow Fiend dropping pretty low in mid lane, but that's just acceptable. Loss of HP as a salve, and we'll have his bottle soon.
Honestly, these arrows aren't supposed to be landing from this Mirana. Like, the setup, oh, bottom lane, Guy was taking a lot of damage from the Bear and Visage combo, but they'll both be fine. The setup just being the level 1 cogs, I guess levels on cogs doesn't really matter, but just being a cog, first of all, the cogs aren't really supposed to land like that. If you're caught isolated in cogs 2 minutes in the game, you're definitely doing something wrong. Maybe you're a Bloodseeker getting a little bit too aggressive, or a Vengeful Spirit being the same, but with the Mirana, she got 2 free setups, and free setups aren't supposed to happen unless you have like a Bane on your team or a Shadow Demon or something like that, so it is going to be a little bit interesting to see if Ztok is going to continuously land these arrows once he actually has no setup, because that's when things get really sketchy.
Aside from our technical issues, looks like Unknown also are having their fair bit of issues, and this time it's with an admin. Never a good situation.
That's the worst, man. That's the worst type of situation to be in. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know there was some potential controversy about whether or not Unknown swapped out one of their players.
Alrighty then. We'll just be high and dry as we wait for this to subside. Again, apologies for the technical issues. Stuff happens, and there's not much we can do about it when we are all remotes. Either way, Unknown are looking pretty good. When it comes to the raw laning stage, Clockwork out farming the Bloodseeker. They killed off the Bloodseeker as well as the Venge once a piece. Top lane's a success. Shadow Fiend in mid is wrecking house. Compared to the Zeus, there's absolutely nothing that the Zeus can do to stop the Shadow Fiend from farming when it comes to denying him away. Now that the bottle is there, things should be looking fine for the SF when it comes to sustaining through that harass. And Lone Druid is also doing fairly well against the Viper and Undying lane, which honestly I didn't think was possible. That lane is just so hard to play up into.
Just the threat and the poking power of this dual range lane with, I guess, a third half hero on Spirit Breaker, so it's like 2.5 heroes versus 2 heroes. And even though Undying Viper, they have a lot of damage as well, if they can't actually get in, if they get body blocked a little bit by like random creeps or a bear or something, then they can't actually make that play. What they have in a lot of slows, mostly from the Viper, they lack in hard CC, therefore they'll be unable to get right on top of the Lone Druid easily. Lone Druid is, as far as heroes go, pretty darn quick. 325 movement speed, and he does not have his boots yet.
Yeah, it is still looking alright for them. Let's see. As quick as possible, they need this extra bit of confirmation with the admin, but we have no idea what's actually going on, and well, it looks like Unknown also don't really have a great idea. It's apparently something they can't talk about here.
Well,
maybe it's really good. Maybe they found themselves, I don't know, $1,000 cash prize sitting
you
under
win the
somebody's
random
couch.
Face-It lottery, yay!
Yay!
You just played our 1000th game. Congratulations, you win. You can probably wait until the end of the series to do that, though. That seems a little bit of a better idea.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Someone's in trouble. This is like when, like, you're in school or whatever, and then the teacher says, so-and-so, see me after class. And the entire
you
class
don't even
is
know
just
what
like,
it is.
oh, shit. Oh, shit.
It could be completely fine, though, but you don't have any idea because they're
Let's
not
be
telling
honest,
you.
when was anyone called to stay after class in school, and it was a good thing?
Well,
guess you
I
never
have an
really
example,
know.
but
Unless it was
Yeah.
you. It was
I
never
don't know.
me.
I won some, like, tournament in debate or something, and I had to talk to the coach after class for something or other, but that just makes me sound like a super huge nerd. I don't know. I was sent to the principal's office.
Dude, you're fucking casting Dota 2 on Twitch at, like, midnight right now. If that doesn't
Yeah.
make you a nerd, I don't know what does. Like, it
You know
actually
what?
does
I
not
just
get
have
any
to-
nerdier than this.
It really doesn't. But that's okay. I think we can own it.
I guess we could be, like, streaming Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know how you would do that, but that would be technically nerdier. A little
Would
bit.
it be, though?
Probably.
Okay.
Because Dungeons and Dragons is, like, the purest form of nerdery.
We should do it. Let's
I've
get on it.
actually played once.
I
we
think
died.
I've only played once as well.
Yeah, our tank got killed in one hit by some angry guy, and that was it wasn't
That's-
pretty after that. Like,
that's a
he rolled a
pretty bad
0
roll.
or a 1, and then the other guy rolled a 20 twice, and then just killed him, and then we just all died. And then we never played since then. And that's my story about how I played Dungeons and Dragons.
That's a great way to go out. This one guy
That's
died.
not a good way to go out.
We got wiped. The dungeon master hated us.
No, we were kind of like, we accepted our fate as soon as it happened. We're like, well, it's been a fun game. It was nice playing, but whatever, not gonna happen anymore. Oh
Well,
man, I love the Twitch chat at this point. This is like when the juiciest of drama threads are born. Congratulations, the drama thread is a boy.
Oh. I didn't know drama threads had genders. Like, I don't know.
Well, that was my allusion to it being born.
I see.
Yes.
Well done. Good
That's what
wordplay.
doctors say, I hear. I don't know if they actually say it. TV has taught me that they say that. Or you know, a girl.
But shouldn't you know beforehand? Unless you explicitly ask them not to tell you.
That's why I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I've never delivered a baby before.
Fair enough.
I don't know if anyone in the chat has. Guys, has anyone in the chat delivered a baby and is a medical professional and can confirm what I have just said to be true or false? Because, you know, if you ask the Twitch chat, they'll definitely give me the truth. There's no way they won't.
No way. They're always honest, right?
Twitch chat never lies. This is why
You heard it here
democracy
first.
works.
I think that's exactly why democracy doesn't work.
We don't talk about that here. Or else you'll be sent to the admins.
Oh dear, no, not the admins.
Brandis, we hear you talking ill about our democracy. We're gonna have a couple of words with you.
Oh dear.
No, it's fine. Fine. Just don't praise be to the admins.
Praise be.
Oh jeez. Well,
I just want to know what's going on.
I asked this question to them in the like while the third game of the last series was still going. I put it in the thread. I was like, guys, what's going on here? And no one said anything. I'm like, okay, it must be fine. Like, I don't know if this is actually people are linking it in the chat. Like, you guys can figure that shit out. Just go to Reddit. You guys can figure out what can potentially be going here. And yeah, they probably should not have done that. This is like the second really fucking stupid thing that some North American team has done in this TI.
The second, really?
Yeah.
I think there's been more than two.
What?
I don't know.
What was the other one that I'm talking about is Summer's Rift just
Of
like
course,
switching their
yeah.
lineup or whatever right after the things are announced.
I don't know.
are you
American
thinking of?
Dota does.
Are you thinking
Doesn't
of Game
make-
2 in the last series when they just threw that game away? Because that was pretty bad too.
Well, there's that. I really don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
Oh god. Alright guys, we're gonna try to keep you up to date with as much stuff as we know.
But right now, what
But
we know is
We
that
know
Jason
absolutely
Lofa-
nothing right now.
Yeah, Lofa has
If we
added.
find out something really like that's noteworthy to tell you guys, we will put it in the chat. And we will bypass the delay and let you guys know. But the odds of us learning anything before you guys is so small. Casters are always the last people to know.
We really are. They tell the viewers before the casters. They like go into chat, tell you, and then they tell us.
And we don't like, I mean, we have an eye on the chat just to make sure that things aren't going completely haywire, but we're not like reading the chat unless it's like right now, in which case we can read the chat. Like, we're not doing anything. Shit.
Yeah, and right now the chat isn't particularly useful. We have a lot of Officer Merlini woo.
I think that's warranted.
I think
Someone
it is
calling
warranted.
the cops. God. How do you keep finding me on, like... I gotta just go offline. You guys suck. You guys suck.
We went through all of the trouble to get through all of those technical issues to bring you this game. And
You couldn't
2.5
have
minutes
waited
in,
like 5-10 minutes to have this problem?
At least give us something to talk about, though, right? I mean, we're 2.5 minutes into the game. There's a slight advantage for unknown and net worth and experience, but that doesn't actually win them the game. It's nice. I think the game's going well for them, but by no means is this over. You can't call a game at 2.5 minutes in.
The admins can. The admins
True.
can do whatever they want. Still better than TI4 finals. This is like... This is the curse, right? The curse of American Dota. It's been so long since I've casted something from the American region. And
the
this
first
is what,
time you
this
come
is
back.
what happens. God.
Dagnabbit, Mike.
HTV curse. I did not notice that Mirana has a... I guess this is a wingless griffin mount?
Yes, I think this was a DAC Immortal.
The moon griffin. I thought griffins had wings. You,
It
like,
does have
clip-
wings. Oh, no, that's her,
That's
that's
part
her
of her
skirt.
cape, yeah. Her skirt, yeah. She cut off the griffin's wings.
And stuck them onto her skirt.
What a bitch. Holy crap, Mirana.
I'm appalled.
My baby question is catching up to the chat. I'm getting no
Nice.
useful answers right now.
I figured this is what would happen. We just got a bunch
Oh.
of baby rage. It's great. Congratulations. Call the police.
Someone says he's a witch doctor. I guess that's close enough. You make a little dance, you pop out the baby, and you just watch it go.
I'm not sure how well that works, but yeah. Yeah, I think that's what happens, right? I'm a doctor.
Everyone on Hefla TV needs to go through med school at least, if they are going to cast any games here.
A
We
doctorate
have
in
very
dank memes.
strict rules here. The strictest.
So, hello, Heflamoke.
Mug, stop spamming, please. You're ruining everything.
We actually.
Like, they typically
just
don't have to
lost.
say the gender. Most parents find out during pregnancy. Well, then what the hell do they say when they pull out a baby?
Congratulations, it's a baby.
Man, I'd be really concerned if my doctor said something different.
It's a
Congratulations, it's a puppy.
tumor. Wow. I'm not
Suddenly
sure how you pull
chaos.
that off, but
Oh, I don't know either, but I'd be freaked out if I was, giving birth.
I would too.
I would also be freaked out at the fact that I was giving birth. That would be scary for me.
That would be scary for me too. Not biologically possible at the moment.
Yet.
Yet.
Who knows? We'll call it Project Seahorse. Be rich beyond our wildest dreams.
Okay, so you actually just get into a relationship, but the man births the child. You like install a pouch.
Yeah,
That's how seahorses work, right?
Yeah, yes, that is how it works. I actually
Okay.
do know how it works because I saw one of those like deep blue nature things, and I was paying attention.
But don't they have like a lot of babies?
Yes, the female gives all the eggs to the male and is like, here, it's your problem now. The male's like, shit. Well, guys, actually, we're gonna have a game here, so seems like we're good to go. And we have a slight lead for Unknown, both in CS, or I guess it's a little more than a slight lead in CS. But we also have Z-Talk, who is perched on a hill, waiting for a courier. How smart is this lamb, though? Looks like it is going to go in the exact correct direction. Z-Talk was up here on this hill for, how long was that pause? A long time.
Yep, but even though he doesn't get the courier snipe this time around, the courier is going to chill over in the sidelines, and it's still available to him. If he can land an arrow at this range, that would be amazing, but since it's daytime, the chances of that are slim to none. But he's going to try his darndest. Zeus! Ooh, don't walk into it, but he's going to be fine.
Whenever you see it coming, you're like, okay, hands, don't click into the arrow. And then they always click into the arrow, but Audi's going to survive it for now. Now he's the flying courier, doesn't have to worry about that. Getting sniped, nowhere near enough damage to actually do that. Up towards top lane, they're going to chase down for Clockwork, at least put a little bit of damage into him, but he has the cogs, in no real danger. Now here comes the arrow. Don't walk into it, Pain. He's not going to walk into it. See, these are the type of arrows that I expected from a Mirana with pretty much no setup. You throw them, you get close, but you don't actually connect.
Which is unfortunate. Down towards bottom, a scuffle's brewing as Viper's going to tag the Lone Druid with a couple of poison attacks. Now the Undying's there with the Tombstone dropped. Only 1 point Tombstone. Is that enough for them to get either of these kills? Eminency is going to end up backing off, and he's going to survive with a soul assumption into the Undying. Everybody makes it out alive. The Lone Druid Bear is going to start right-clicking down the Tombstone. That's a little bit of extra gold for the Lone Druid that he wouldn't have had otherwise.
Lone Druid's holding on to quite a bit of cash right now. 1,000 no boots up against an Undying and a Viper. That in of itself is pretty bold. Seems like he wants to go for as fast of a hand of Midas as possible. I don't know of any other reason why you hold this much gold. But yeah, Lone Druid is playing things potentially a little bit risky. A little bit more risky than it really should be because, even though Poison Attack right now is only level 1, if it is, for some reason, level 2, then things get really bad. Arrow's going to be thrown up towards top. Greedy, though, getting to get into a 2v1 fight. Here comes Z-Talk to help out. Pain already taking a lot of damage from that battery assault. Clockwork will slip away, albeit barely. Has a flare. They know more or less where Pain is. Z-Talk trying to get into a fist fight now with the Vengeful Spear. Flare's going to land. Z-Talk's going to snag 1 kill, then probably take the other. Wop does not have enough damage to actually do this. Leap forward from Z-Talk, and Wop is going to die to something or someone. Probably. Find him. He's in a corner. That's an ambitious TP.
Double kill.
And it'll be a double kill in the end for the Mirana.
And 100 gold wasted by the Venge. Rip in pieces your item progression on that Vengeful Spirit, 4-0. Unknown's Mirana has been involved in so many kills, and either directly or indirectly is been doing a lot of work for the team, all things considered. Zeus is the silver lining for EGX, even though he's not putting any pressure onto the Shadow Fiend himself. Still not the end of the world. Pain up towards top, does snipe off that Mirana, finds himself with just an easy rundown of her, not having really much of anything to help contribute.
It was the leap on cooldown because she used it to get that Vengeful Spirit, and leap level 1, the cooldown, it's only 30 seconds, but it feels like 2 years if you're that Mirana player, so it's a nice little kill there for EGX. They finally get on the board, but now Mirana is going to make her rotation down towards the south lane. The Entangle is going to land into Guayo, Arrow's going to be thrown as well. They did see her coming, they will actually take down the Bear. That's a big asset there for EGX. Guayo taking a lot of damage, and here comes the Clockwork as well. Suddenly everyone in their mom on this bottom lane. The Tombstone is up, however, and fighting into that is a death sentence. Wop, going to come on Battery Assault and the Cogs. The Suspension Spirit is dead, can they get anyone else? It's a killing spree for Greedy right now. The Bear sicked upon Guayo right now. He's going to get blocked out by Greedy. Yes, the Undying has no more escape route. I think he might be perfectly blocked in. He may be able to beat his way to excel, but not if another Entangle lands. Thundergod's Wrath is up. Will snipe the Visage rather. But it's still going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Unknown. They're bringing in the Cavalry, a lot more Cavalry than you would expect, but speaking of Cavalry, we got Pain coming in with the Rupture. That's going to start bleeding out onto Lone Druid. That's one hero dead in an instant. Hook shot in, is going to catch 2 with the Cogs. Battery Assault is up as well. Zodi's taking a lot of damage, will go down before the Circle can actually bail him out in any way, shape, or form. Now Mirana in a little bit of trouble with Pain, does have enough movement speed to chase down this cat lady. She's just one hit away from death, and Pain is going to secure a double kill for Pain. And EGX turned it around pretty darn convincingly.
Yeah, that Bloodseeker getting a lot of value inside that last fight. The Lone Druid, after being up against an Undying Viper lane, finds himself a sub 6.5 minutes Midas, and is able to use that before going down himself. So he does get that nice infusion of gold. Even so, the kill score for EGX is now starting to stabilize after a pretty subpar early game. That said, you have some space in mid lane for either of these heroes that Shadow Fiend is going to make very good use of, although he can't contribute to that fight in the same fashion that Ahi did on the Zeus. He was able to drop that Thunder God's Wrath to kill off the Visage. 7-2-5, excuse me, as we start picking up some momentum after that awkward pause.
Also, Shadow Fiend, like you said, he was getting a lot of space in the mid lane, and by a lot of space, you meant a lot of space. Like, this guy is doubling up the Zeus and then some. This matchup should be a lot better for the Zeus than it is. Should be a little bit more even. Yeah, it is a little bit better for the Shadow Fiend than, but not this good, not doubling up. And now with Greedy coming in, Hookshot is available, will catch onto creeps, however, will it matter? Zeus is fast enough to get away from that Clockwork, thinking about throwing some Lightning. EGX investing 4 heroes in the bottom lane in the meantime to take down the tier 1, and Unknown not with any heroes, at least not enough to actually defend it, will be forced to sacrifice it. Now the 4 heroes that were just done killing off that tower are going to smoke up and make their rotation mid. Bloodseeker has Rupture and is looking for someone to click on. Target acquired. Rupture got bogged out in high ground, but he sees someone else. It's going to be the Shadow Fiend. He has no TP. He has the raises, though. One raise is going to land, which will be a warning shot, which will force Pain back. In the meantime, Z-Talk, he'll dodge a magic missile, but you cannot dodge his Bloodseeker. He'll beat down the Mirana and gets a kill. Not the kill that he wanted, but the kill I guess he deserved. It's 7-6 right now. EGX, they're getting quite a lot of pickoffs. They still have to worry about the Shadow Fiend, though, because he is going to hit like a truck.
And probably going to have a mechanism very shortly. Has enough, or actually, no, that's Excel's medallion flying out, but even though that's the medallion for the Visage instead of the buckler for the Shadow Fiend, he is still getting a lot of gold for the team. It's a blade mail build for your Bloodseeker, 7-6. EGX have to rotate very heavily in order to get these fights going in their favor, but if they can keep up this momentum, things are going to be looking pretty sharp for them. Up towards top, Visage Familiars and the Clockwork Cogs onto Pain. Might end up going off the Bloodseeker, but in return, the Clockwork's dropped low, but not low enough for one solo assumption. Zone 3, that's going to be the Visage's kill, and in mid lane, Viper dodges the Shadow Fiend. Arguably the more important pickoff. Arrow in mid going to be attempted is absorbed.
Shadow Fiend kills for EGX, the most important thing they could possibly be doing right now. And even though Shadow Fiend has had quite a lot of time to farm, his farm hasn't really given him that much HP, except for 9 levels worth of strength growth. That's nothing to be too happy about. He is going for a mech, so maybe next time he'll be able to survive that. But next time, sure as hell is going to help him this time. The Bloodseeker trying to get into a fight with the Clockwork did not expect the Visage to be there in full. Maybe saw the birds and decided to go in anyway, and that's already pretty ambitious, but Visage is leveling up pretty darn rapidly. He's level 7 right now, compared to level 5, level 6 of the Venge and Undying, respectively. So he is going to be hitting like an absolute truck. Not only him, but of course his familiars. And if he's able to get these kills and stay alive, then the Aghanim Scepter is going to be coming up, or maybe even... Well, hold on, he's going to be jumped, maybe? No swap, actually, since Vengeful Spirit, I just said, is level 6, and Pain a little too far away from the Rupture.
Only one auto attack apiece for the birds. Both of them are going to survive as well. A pretty nice boon for the Visage to keep on surviving. It's going to be body blocked a little bit by the Mirana, but now joining forces with a clockwork hookshot to set things up and a double damage rune on clock. They might be able to take this fight, but at the moment, maybe though they don't know it, they are at a numbers disadvantage. Arrow's going to be thrown wide towards the left, but because of this rotation, they're leaving the Lone Druid and the Shadow Fiend alone to farm. Both of them are doing quite a good job. My goodness.
God damn it, Applemoke, why are you doing this? Such a bad person. Over towards the mid lane, they didn't throw the hook shot in that top lane. They just threw a rocket flare. So they let EGX know of the positioning of the clockwork. Zeus should be at least kind of aware of the fact that there is a clockwork hanging around this area. Up towards the top though, Familiars, they're both dropped. I think they're going to lose at least one. That's one down, second one not going to take any damage, but still 100 gold for EGX, and they have quite a few heroes over in the top. They're going to go towards mid where I just got jumped, hookshot connected, now the silent circle is down. Greedy will pop to this one. He'll stand still and accept his fate. Chasing forward for Dark Konoha. That's probably a little bit more ambitious. Pain wants in though. He has the blade mail. He's being armed up. We'll return all the damage with the blade mail. That'll be an even 1-for-1 though. Bloodseeker gets the kill first. Shadow Fiend, I think with the Death Requiem, got the kill on the Bloodseeker.
That was very ballsy by the Bloodseeker. I'm not sure if he expected the Requiem, but either way, it ends up working out probably as good as he could have hoped for, given that circumstance. The Shadow Fiend getting the kill afterwards is going to give a lot of experience away towards the enemy Bloodseeker. An absolute bloodbath. This is such a difference from the summer Champions of Summer's Rift games that we were watching earlier on, with very few kills per minute in the early stage, at the very least in their close games. At the moment, both teams are going blow for blow, and I think the big winner here is the Lone Druid. After picking up his Midas, is well on his way towards having Relic Gold. Moonlight Shadow is going to be spent trying to make an opening up towards top. Greedy is hunting with the hookshot.
DX are taking pretty decent fights, but these fights are involving all the heroes. So it's the Viper to get caught the cogs just by himself. That's solo battery assault damage. He is going to get tagged with an arrow just for good measure, and it'll be the clockwork to secure the kill. But meantime, over towards mid, Dark Konoha has no more Requiem and has no more hope. He's going to make him run for it, but yeah, he's bleeding, and that's not a good place to run. It's going to be another 1-for-1 that EGX are going to be happy to trade. But you know, after all these trades, like first it was the Shadow Fiend to really get that free farm. Now it's the Lone Druid. EGX, they're pretty much playing whack-a-mole with unknown farmers. And there are too many moles, there are too many farmers on the unknown side. EGX just don't have enough heroes to convincingly kill all of them all the time.
Killing off that Shadow Fiend twice in quick succession does help them out quite a bit and puts a dent in Shadow Fiend's soul reserves. But he does have his mechanism completed and is still farming reasonably well. The bigger issue is that the mole that they haven't hit for a while is MNZ on the Lone Druid. Left alone, he's very, very close to having that relic. They need to stop him sooner rather than later. If he is able to get this relic without dying once, this is going to be a very scary amount of split pushing power that they're going to have at their disposal. With enough heroes to make this case work.
Greedy's gonna get caught in between 4 heroes. EGX has been moving as a very large squad for a very long time. It's only the Zeus really who's been left behind in all these exchanges, and even then he can help out with his ultimate. But EGX, they have not had anyone on the bottom lane for like 3 minutes at least, like 5 minutes probably, since they've taken down the tier 1. They just completely abandoned this lane. It is a lot of net worth and potential that's being wasted. Speaking of, over towards mid, arrow into double raise. That's a little bit more potential for Dark Konoha. He has his mech available and he has clearly enough burst damage to take down one of the soft Zeus. Keep coming in for Bane, or from Pain rather. He'll bleed out Mirana. Leap is gonna hurt a lot. Zeetalk is dead. He'll turn around and accept his fate. It's going to be even 1-for-1 up towards the top lane in the meantime. Push is going to occur. Tower down, not denied. They'll swap back Axel right now and then beat the Visage down. He has a clockwork nearby, but that will not help him. Familiar also is going to die.
That's a pretty big win for EGX across the map, even though they are still giving a decent amount of space to this Lone Druid, who, if I'm not mistaken, does have his relic. They're fighting pretty effectively, at the very least trading evenly, but I fear for them that if they ever stop this momentum, that things are going to go south for them. Bloodseeker sitting on a decent chunk of gold, Pain sitting on a Blade of Alacrity inside the base, probably completed Yasha in his near future, although it's not done yet.
Bloodseeker just as a core farmer, like he is the one position hero in this game for EGX. He is very, very good in this stage of the game. He falls off pretty hard later on, however, especially when you go for items like Blade Mail, which And they're okay in the late game, but not if you're actually looking to do a lot of damage. And it's not really comparable to a lone druid who's going to get 7 slots worth of items. So EGX, they actually need to capitalize on this killing potential they have and actually take towers with it, which so far they've only taken 2. It's not too bad for 15 minutes in the game given their lack of pushing heroes, but it's not enough considering what they need. And now Guayo's going to walk right into a Moonlight Shadow. Surprise, it's a trap. He's completely surrounded. He's going to put his tombstone, but that'll just be more gold for someone on Unknown to take. And, well, they'll maybe kill it off. Yeah, they will, but yeah, you can't really expect that to happen. Random Moonlight Shadow. Meantime, the rest of the team, they're Roshan, Valiant, the Wop, plus the minus armor from a level 4 wave. They should be able to clear this one out without too much of a problem. Clockwork is throwing a flare in the area, though. It's too late.
They will get an arrow onto Wop, down to a half HP after that, but in the meantime, Lone Druid avoided a smoke gank. They turned that smoke into the Roshan, which is nice and all, but he hasn't completed. What?
The Radiant got the kill somehow. What the hell happened?
Was that a flare snipe on Roshan?
I have never seen that before.
What?
Ever.
Wow, okay, so that's not supposed to happen. Flare does not do that much damage. He only had 2 points in it, maybe 3 when he threw that out. 160 damage mitigated by Roshan's magic resist. That's absurd. Did they get that with the familiars? I don't think there were birds in the area.
I don't think so either. Like, he has them with him right now, and he couldn't have like circled them around and over towards where he is if that was gonna happen. That was definitely a flare kill. That is freaking ridiculous for Unknown right now. EGX, they do get the Aegis, but that's kind of like the consolation prize. When it's this early in the game, you need that gold, you need that experience, because they were investing 3-4 heroes into that area. They were doing nothing but taking damage and dealing damage to Roshan the entire time. In fact, they don't get any experience payoff for that, or any gold payoff for that, is huge. They're going to try to go for a tower push regardless, because they have an Undying who doesn't have maxed out Tombstone. They might be able to get it, but it won't be for free. They're going to lose a tier 1 tower at the very least up towards top.
And this is a Lone Druid that has a 16-minute Radiance Midas completed, which is absurd amounts of farm. Even if you were rushing straight towards that Radiance, most games would be pretty happy given the pressure is applied early, but he was left alone for so long, and MMC is now in a great situation. Even though they lose that tier 2 tower down towards bottom lane, Unknown are finding so much momentum that they really shouldn't be. The Visage is halfway towards his Aghanim Scepter. Shadow Fiend is well on his way towards BKB, and this game is looking very precarious for EGX. By no means is it over. The gold advantage is only 5,000 in the favor of Unknown, and experience advantage of only 4,000. But just by looking at their heroes, I'd much rather be on Unknowns if this game goes late.
And it looks like it may not actually get to that point unless Unknown actually let it get to that point. Their bear is going to get caught out right now. It may be in trouble of dying, and that is a lot of bounty for the EGX side. With the minus armor, that's a minus 13 on the bear. He'll turn around and do some Radiance burn damage. This bear is going to die to someone. I didn't actually get a good look at who actually killed it off. But either way, gold for the EGX side is acquired, and Lone Druid does have to resummon that one. But he is still farming up an absolute storm right now. If he grabs an AC, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for EGX to make that play in the future.
Yeah, and it also synergizes really nicely with the Shadow Fiend's minus armor aura as well. Even with having a lot of armor on the Bloodseeker, Pain is going to be close to being even. At the very least, a lot of damage is going to go his way. With only 1,000 HP when he's amplified by the Blood Rage, there's really not much that he can do to stay alive inside these fights. EGX need to find ways to actually put pressure onto the towers. Tier 1 tower mid still stands, and with this pushing coming up from Lone Druid, I'm not sure they're ever going to really get to a spot where they can find those fights. TP attempt for greedy is going to succeed by the looks of things. So no, there is going to be a bolt. He's able to get that through the battery assault, and now the Zeus ultimate dropped onto him, although he's still invis under the guise of Moonlight Shadow. Gritty looks to be going down here to take damage, and a little bit more from the Undying, and the Zeus is going to tick him over the edge. EGX are going to find themselves a nice pickoff, but although this is nice, Lone Druid is pushing bottom, Shadow Fiend is farming. It's a pickoff, sure, but it's not without trade.
That was a little bit of miscommunication there, and a little bit of boldness from the Clockwork. They could have waited potentially for a hookshot to land, then Z-Talk throws the arrow, but even then, this Zeus has a Glimmer Cape, and Clockwork had the Zeus in his sights with the flare. He had full vision, should have known that might have being there. down towards
Radiant's
bottom lane.
middle
Pain's
tower
getting
has
charged
been
down by the bear.
destroyed.
Looks like no kills are going to be happening. In the meantime, the rest of the team, they will clean out the mid, rather, tier 1. And Pain gets tagged with an arrow while he's trying to farm. 2 TPs are coming in, but the bear is already letting loose the entangle as well. They'll take the Aegis, swap back though. Gonna cancel MMZ's TP back. Now up against a 1v4 scenario. They're still onto WAP though. That'll get the kill on the bench at the very least. He's still on the run, but he will go down to something. And he will die in the end. The Mirana also going to get picked off. It's a 2-for-1 and Aegis in favor of eGX, but Aegis, that's not really a huge cost for them.
No, it's going to expire in a minute anyway, and I don't think if they didn't use it there that they would get any value from it elsewhere.
Dire's middle tower
The Lone
is
Druid's
under
still doing a
attack.
lot of damage, even with
But you
no
probably
items on top
already knew
of the
that.
Radiance Midas, or major items on top of the Radiance Midas, so that's a little bit worrisome for EGX, but they'll be happy in the meantime that they do get that exchange.
eGX, even with that exchange, they're not making any super aggressive plays right now. Like, they still have a lot of effective time on this draft before things start to get really bad for them, like before their heroes start to deteriorate in effectiveness, but they're not exactly going to be getting, you know, super far ahead by letting this game state sit as it is. In the unknown side, they have a slight net worth lead, a slight experience lead, you know, 3,000 in experience, 5,000 net worth, nothing to write home about, though still is good. They're getting some really important items up, like the Clockwork. He has his Blade Mail already. Excel, he's been farming in the background, mostly this top lane background for quite a long time. Is only 400 away from his Aghanim Scepter completed, and that is going to be one of the faster Aghanim Scepters that I've seen on the Visage that hasn't completely gone off. Like, he has a score of 124. That's pretty moderate, but he is going to be doing a lot of physical damage, and for eGX, it's going to hurt. They have a mech, which is nice, I suppose, but I don't know if that's going to completely save that one target.
They've just been very efficient in their usage of the map, distributing the farm nicely between the Jetafine Lone Druid and the Visage, abusing the fact that EGX had mostly been roaming as a 4-5-man squad. Greedy's going to be caught out with a Haster and Magic Missiles connected. Now they will get the vision of him. Zeus ultimate committed. Now Greedy is going to end up going down one way or another. Pops the Blade Mail. There's going to be an arrow flying, but that is the end of his life. Haster sometimes makes you feel like you're invincible, but he finds a little bit more than he wanted to. But everybody else is going for the wraparound with the Moonlight Shadow. They're going to find themselves the Undying, munching him down, about half HP, will raise him once, raise him twice, and eventually bring him down. Jetafine now focusing in the Undying Tombstone. They'll probably have to resummon the Bear. Bear is going to end up going down as Requiem's unwound, slowing down and reducing damage coming up from Pain and everybody else of the EGX side. But if that's all that she wrote, that's probably a decent trade for EGX since they do get that Bear kill. Lone Druid actually doesn't have the resummon. Can they get anything else, however? He is now caught out between the Mirana and the Visage. Immediate TP from the Mirana will not be cancelled by anything, not another bolt, but it is going to end up killing up this Visage here. He's going to go by one part of his Aghanim Scepter. He will do that, but ends up going down just the same. EGX find themselves with a 2-for-1 trade plus a Bear.
An ambitious fight there from Unknown to actually take it in the first place. That wraparound was potentially really good if they had, you know, multiple heroes coming in at multiple angles, but really everyone coming in from this one direction, not exactly ideal, especially when one of those heroes is not the Clockwork, who is, by the way, going to run straight into WAP. That's not a great fight for the bench by herself. He does have support coming in. Rupture is there, plus the circle. Greedy's going to put up the cogs. The WAP's going to get bumped back out of the arrow. Greedy's still dying to this Venge. Will go down. Greedy should stop playing like his namesake and start actually going with someone whenever he goes onto the enemy side of the map, because constantly getting picked off as any hero is not good. But really, for Unknown, they kind of need this Clockwork to stay alive and just be a barrier to make things difficult for this Bloodseeker to get in.
Swap back on the Bear, but no damage applied. The Spirit Bear is going to end up just poofing out towards the Lone Druid. What's this actually called? Return. Oh, that's a very lame name. But either way, the Lone Druid Bear now sitting on a Hyperstone. It's going to be working towards that full Assault Cuirass, and Unknown are still getting a decent amount of momentum, even though the Clockwork has gone for some very risky, low reward, high risk plays. Well then, the game has slowed down a decent bit as EGX, although they're 19-15, have a 4-kill advantage, are still getting out farmed. The state of the game hasn't changed much at all, but maybe the next Roshan will shake things up. It's going to be spawning very shortly, actually, a short Roshan respawn timer, but not spotted out by WAP.
That's unfortunate. You never really expect it to happen right now, so maybe she turns around, throws a wave in. EGX still have a lot of Roshan killing potential with their minus armor coming out from this Venge, but Unknown, they have many ways of actually scouting it out. They have arrows, they have familiars, and they have a Bear who may be less than ideal because he can't get killed off, and he doesn't have a resummon for another 30. It is still another thing that Unknown can throw into the Roshan pit, and they'll be able to get eyes on it. But this is probably going to be the engine for EGX. They're going to plan on grabbing the Roshan, ideally this time actually landing the killing blow as well, and then they're probably going to think about going for some of these pushes.
Spirit now has a plate mail, and the items are continuing to roll out for the Radiant side, but for the Bloodseeker, it looks like a BKB is in the works. Very shortly incoming for Pain, has the Ogre Club already inside his inventory, and we'll have the gold for BKB in just about 3, so he's gonna have that completed whenever he wants it, and there you go. Some dewarding coming out from EGX, or at least attempted dewarding. They don't end up finding the vision that is placed a little bit closer towards north, but even that is about to expire. If it spots out the smoke, that could be huge, but no, with a gem on the Viper, it's not going to be long for this world.
This is a pretty good scenario for Unknown to be in. The Mexican standoff is going to be eventually broken if EGX don't do anything about this top lane. This bear is going to push it pretty slowly since it's just Radiance Burn, but it is more momentum than EGX are applying to anywhere else. So someone on the EGX side eventually will have to either start a fight or go up to this top lane, in which case Unknown are going to be the one to start a fight. So EGX, maybe they could put a Zeus into that role, but that's definitely not as good as just a lone Druid bear, who is not picked off, is going to get away with quite a bit. Already he's forcing out Pain. Bear probably should be yanked back right now, but they, see the Bloodseeker up on top lane. They immediately jump into the Roche Pit. Can the Bloodseeker get here fast enough? Will he even try to get here fast enough? Will it even matter? Zeus is up on the high ground. If he throws a lightning bolt, Greedy is going to fire a flare, and things get really bad for Aji really quickly. Oh, there's the flare. And suddenly things are really bad for Aji, and that happened really quickly. Smoke is up. Oh, and that's just a Moonlight Shadow, actually. Suddenly, Zeus Concogs has a Glimmer Cape. Looks like that'll save him for a little while. Do they really not have detection? This happened already once. Cass will finally get it out, but they're focusing down onto the Lone Druid. He is going to get swapped out, and he will go down. A great trade so far for EGX to chase down for more. Excel trying to get to the Cogs, maybe get a bump back, but no, Pain is BKB. That won't even work. Excel's going to get munched down by the Bloodseeker. And now Pain is looking for a little bit more. Familiars in his way. He'll take a lot of damage, but not quite yet lethal. He will slip away unless this arrow lands. Baller arrow status level 0. It misses, and Pain is going to survive. Meantime, Wop chasing after Z-Talk right now has a magic missile, and the Mirana does have leap, so landing that can be a little bit difficult. Pain still being chased down. Flare will get the kill. Greedy, though, has overcommitted perhaps. Cogs are up. TP out as well, and they don't have anything to interrupt that. It's going to be a clean 2 for 2, but Lone Druid, he's not supposed to be the first one to die for Unknown. He's not supposed to be dying at all, even.
Oh, getting ruptured, getting caught out inside that blood right coming out from the Bloodseeker was really a pain for Unknown. Bloodseeker was able to go wherever he wanted inside that fight. With the BKB activated, with the SNY, the Blade Mail, he was mostly untouched until the very end of it, where he eats a face full of familiar damage. If that hook shot wasn't dodged by the familiars, he would have died a lot quicker, but in the end, he does go down. But yeah, Lone Druid really needs to be more careful with his positioning. Just got caught out in a really awkward spot.
Not only his positioning, but his positioning with the bear as well. Like, it's been picked off a couple of times, and the gold really does start to add up with those assets once they die. So Unknown, maybe in general as a team, have to be a little bit more careful about where they put their assets. They're going to have an Eye of Sky in the Shadow Fiend. That's a big item to have for 27 minutes in the game. He's been, pretty much working with nothing since he picked up the BKB, but after that last fight, it seems like Unknown definitely do need a little bit more, at least to start killing away this Bloodseeker. And Roshan is still alive, so both sides are going to be trying to position themselves for that one. Unfortunately, this Lone Druid still doesn't have a bear to summon for the first time, let alone a second time, so you really want to commit the bear right now into the Roche Pit.
I'm not sure he wants to commit into the Roche, but he'll try his best to split push with the bear, even if they go for this fight without the bear in close quarters. There's going to be a hook shot in, catches like the Viper. Arrow also lands on Zodi. Shadow Fiend starting to let loose with his damage, but the Zeus is also doing the same. Zeus is going to go down first. Lone Druid brings in his Spear for the Radiant Spear damage going to town. He can be caught by the Bloodseeker. Did they get a lucky route? The Bloodseeker's running at supersonic speeds. He's going to be chasing forward, but then gets stuck into the ground. BKB or not, it's not going to save him. He kills off the bear, gets a huge heal, and now chases forward for MNC. It's going to be his death. He's going to drop the Silent Circle. Now pops the Blade Mail, turns around, loses the Aegis. There is a BKB Requiem at the ready for Stand in Dark. He's going to let it loose, ripping apart Pain as he's right inside Shadow Fiend's model. Bizodi now going to be chased down with the Scotty on the Shadow Fiend. There's no running, even if you are a Viper. This might end up being a 4-for-4 trade, plus the Aegis, I suppose, unless the Undying can work a miracle here. Turns around and is going to drop the Shadow Fiend to very low amounts of HP. Bizodi's going to end up going down, but in trade, the Shadow Fiend is going to potentially lose his life. The mech, the damage is too much, and he's losing this fight. Gets one decay, but it's an ultra kill for the Shadow Fiend. Close skate with death, but he survives.
and he makes a really smart move, teleport back to the base, buy a salve immediately, just in case Zeus has his ultimate, just in case. He doesn't, but still Shadow Fiend is going to get away with a very, very narrow fight, which, I mean, that was already a very narrow situation. The Undying got up to the high ground somehow. I didn't actually get a look on how he actually got up there, so he was forced to TP out, so couldn't stick around fully with his Flesh Golem active, but it was the Bloodseeker man-fighting the Lone Druid's Bear that really got the EGX side that fight. If the Lone Druid doesn't lose his Bear there, Bloodseeker goes down very, very quickly, doesn't get that huge, huge heal from getting the final blow, and then that secondary fight with the Aegis and the Requiem, that doesn't even happen. So for Unknown, I mean, they hold on to the Shadow Fiend's BKB for a very long time. It ends up paying off, albeit barely, and I don't know if he's going to be confident holding on to his BKB the next time, but still, it's, for the most part, an even fight. EGX do take down the Roshan, and that's with pretty good initiation from Unknown. They land an arrow, and they land a hook shot, and they bottle up EGX all in that pit, yet still, things go less than stellar for them, because I think Shadow Fiend really held his Requiem for too long, and now they're going to swap back Cell over towards mid. Zetok is here, and is greedy. So dropping very low very quickly. Thunder God's Wrath won't kill him off. No Bloodseeker in the area either. He is coming in, but no, it's going to be Greedy who's going to take the focus instead. TP out is going to cancel by a bolt. Now Pain, he's not going to chase forward for any more. It's just the clockwork to die. Surprise, surprise.
They'll kill off the Visage Familiars on the retreat as well, so still a slight victory for EGX. The Zeus damage on the Visage was just shy, getting some nice Gravekeeper's Cloak value there. But still, Unknown are on the back foot. They're going to be fighting for one bear with just one bear for the greater portion of a minute. And well, with that in mind, if EGX can bring this down, that's gigantic in these next couple of fights. Shadow Fiend's going to raise down the creep waves. They have a Visage in the sidelines with an Aghanim Scepter completed. And an arrow connects onto the Viper. Where's the follow-up ever? Pizzotti is going to be kept alive by his team. They hardly even touch him, and things are tense, although they haven't broken out yet.
Moonlight Shadow, I believe, was spotted by the Styra Observer Ward, so, well, the fact that Arena Aquila randomly appeared, that'll probably be spotted by the Styra Observer Ward, and now Moonlight Shadow will dissolve, so Arrow connecting, yet unable to make that advance. There's a gem on Viper, so making that type of initiation can be very difficult in the future. Familiars maybe wrapping around, but while EGX are messing around on this mid lane, not really doing much except for pressuring, the Lone Druid is pressuring very hard on the bottom lane. This is a Spirit Bearer we're talking about. Hasn't gotten that much in the way of farm, all things considered. Since he picked up that Radiance, it's been Plate Mail and Hyperstone, fine, but not amazing considering his start. Mostly been dying, but still he's going to force the EGX side back. He's going to let Unknown get a little bit more onto the map. As a group of 3 right now, Shadow Fiend, if he's kept alive, if he's kept behind the clockwork, is going to be doing so much freaking damage.
And now he does have the Assault Cuirass finished, so Lone Druid does get a little bit of item progression in that manner. And now it's going to return the Orb of Venom towards the bear. Even with just these items, Lone Druid is an absolute menace inside these fights, and now that they have waited out the time so he can have a second bear, life gets a lot easier for MNZ.
He could stay alive, of course. They have pure damage and a lot of it, or I guess a lot of damage from EGX, and some pure damage as well, or I guess, yeah, Rupture is still considered pure. The Zeus damage as well, being amplified by the Veil of Discord, how everyone's damage from EGX being amplified by both that Veil and the minus armor is a pain, and now bottom lane, Konoha's gonna pop a BKB to dodge a magic missile, lob is over commit, he's gonna die. Straight TP out from the Shadow Fiend, he'll get out of there safe and sound. And, well, it's just a solo kill, but that is an 8-second BKB charge for Vengeful Spirit. Not exactly the trade you're gonna want to be making all the time.
Rupture lasts an obnoxious amount of time, and he's gonna walk with a little bit of that still applied to him, but still, a good move from the Shadow Fiend. That was supposed to be EGX getting a clean pick off. Zeus Ultimate going to be used primarily for Vision, going to spot out an Unknown rotation into their woods. Although if they're going to change their play, I'm not sure. This is going to allow Bloodseeker very freely farm up in his agents and for the Zeus to farm up in the enemy jungle camps.
And the Bloodseeker and the Shadow Fiend are probably both going to have a Butterfly, so it's going to be a little bit more RNG in this game than it ordinarily is. Tower does get destroyed pretty easily by the Radiant side, so Unknown are going to claim a pretty nice chunk of change there. Still have a tier 1 or tier 2 tower to worry about down towards bottom lane, but they can clean that one up pretty rapidly as well. And for EGX, I mean, their plan was to go for an aggressive play after killing off Roshan and grabbing that Aegis. That definitely didn't pan out. Next Roshan, the respawn timer is soon going to be revealed, so at that point, we're most likely going to see that same standoff.
We very well could. The tier 2 tower up towards top has since fallen. The map control is starting to dissolve around EGX. But yeah, where's our butterflies for both the Bloodseeker as well as the Shadow Fiend. Bloodseeker is still shy the gold for his evasion. Oh no, he actually just picked that up, so Pain is going to have his done, and your Butterfly and the Shadow Fiend, he's the one that's, actually no, he has it too. My goodness, both of them are going to pick it up almost simultaneously. But that said, I think the evasion wars still slightly favor the Shadow Fiend because of the Radiance Mischance coming out from the bear.
Gotta remember that as well. It's a very, very small change. Or I guess, I mean, 70% it's pretty large, but it's a small change that you have to remember. It used to be an 8% mischance on the holder. I don't know how that's relevant in here, but just a fun fact for everyone. It was completely irrelevant.
I mean, completely irrelevant, I wouldn't say so.
It seemed completely irrelevant, okay? 8% of the time it was relevant.
Which, I mean, that 8% of the time is absolutely infuriating when you, like, miss a meld strike or something on it. But regardless, Unknown are going to start pushing down towards this bottom lane, although EX have a pretty strong wraparound. They're going to Viper Strike up the bear and focus it down into the Veil of Fly. It's dropping pretty low. They neck up the bear, but they're going to have to use Resummon pretty early. Pain on his BKB isn't dropping low. The hook shot in doesn't seem to connect onto anything but a handful of allied heroes. The bear is dropping low. If they lose this bear, that's very bad for the lone druid himself. Can they keep it alive? Ruptured up the Shadow Fiend is stuck. He's going to be forced out towards the enemy team. Pops his BKB and goes to town on the Zeus. Pops a Requiem inside everybody. Going to go to town on his Vengeful Spirit. Kills her off. They get a root on the Viper and kill him as well. He's going to town. There's absolutely nothing to stop him except for a Zeus ult, which is going to end up killing him off. They're going to end up losing for the Zeus is still surviving over in the sidelines. Do they know he's here? I pray for Ahi that they don't, but they're going to keep on going for the high ground just the same. That's a big fight victory for them. Shadow Fiend finding a really nice angle set up by the Vengeful Spirit.
You do not swap a Tide Hunter, you do not swap a Shadow Fiend like that. That's just things you don't do as a Vengeful Spirit player. That's set up perfectly, better than Unknown could have possibly imagined for that Requiem. Like, they don't actually have the means of getting a Shadow Fiend in there by themselves. Hookshot is going to get dodged by Ahi in the defense. They force back buyback with the Viper, but he's gonna get arrowed immediately. With no bear, they cannot continue this push, but still they take a free tier 3 tower. They force out a buyback and they get a whole slew of kills. That was a pretty gross misplay by the Vengeful Spirits. I don't really know what the plan was there, but that was the perfect Requiem, all things considered, for that Shadow Fiend. And that probably, well, that definitely wouldn't have happened if that swap didn't happen. And I would even be tempted to say that Unknown don't even come away with that teamfight victory if that Requiem doesn't happen. But it did. And because of that, they just got completely mopped.
Oh dear, my goodness, these knowledge bombs from Heflamoke, but...
He didn't even spell science correctly.
Reported, our statsman is the worst. Okay, well, we're going to get back into this game. Unknown find themselves with a fresh bit of momentum. The bear is consistently being brought down inside these fights, even with the Solar Crest on the Visage. It just seems to be falling too quickly, and I think this is one of those games where you consider getting a BKB for your Spirit Bear.
At a certain point, you really just do need to get it a little more survivability. They're going to swap back on the Z-Talk. Magic Missile will not land. Not a chance of that. Hook shot in, though. Going to catch two with the same cogs on two. Actually, although Vengeance Spirit gets out of there. Greedy now dropping very low very quickly due to the amplification. The Undying Bear is just summoned, but it will very quickly be brought down. Suddenly, this lone druid has this much net worth to work with. That's like 1,000 or something like that. So he needs a minute and a half to fall back. We're seeing a pretty large drawback of the lone druid right now in EGX. With that pick-off, that's a big pick-off, we'll go straight into the Roche Pit. This Viper keeps on catching arrows with his face, which is less than ideal. Unknown still want to fight this. They'll take down the Tombstone with the Familiars, or at least try to, and it'll time out naturally. But Pain is doing all the damage to the Roshan. He's all the need, so they're gonna get in there. Triple Stomp, Cheese is still alive. Konoha can pop the BKB and slay the Undying immediately. Now he's gonna go towards Pain. No thinking about the Cheese, does grab it. Pain's gonna die, lose the H immediately, and there's Requiem waiting for him, I think, when he wakes up. Surprise! No, he's gonna pop the BKB and start man fighting. He is not gonna win that man fight though. He's not gonna get the Visage either with that Glimmer Cape. Pain force pop the BKB and just book it. Looks like he has enough movement speed because of someone being weak enough to actually get out of there. MNZ is going to chase down Ahi in the meantime. It's a 3-for-1 in favor of Unknown. Somehow they win that fight without that there, but that's because I think Lone Druid, I mean, he's still in the back. He had an MKB through that. Not doing terrible damage, I suppose.
I think the big story there is the Shadow Fiend, again, just being able to get into the middle of everything and get his damage off. The Bloodseeker really couldn't answer him. There was so many misses on either side, but the Solar Crest popped onto the Shadow Fiend. He actually just can't be hit until you have an MKB up for the Bloodseeker, yeah. And especially once you factor in that Radiant's mischance, his evasion is through the roof, or effective evasion, I should say. The mischance isn't actually evasion, but he also snags the cheese too. The Aegis advantage has been completely taken away and actually flipped in towards Unknown's favor. With that cheese, he's running with pretty much 2 lives, and I don't think the lockdown is enough from EGX to stop him from getting off that cheese. They have a magic missile, and that's it.
And if you try to swap him, well, we know what happens when that happens. So Konoha, I want to say, just off of, you know, very basic mental math, he has about a 40% chance, if all the mischances are applied to him or whatever, he has about a 40% chance to get hit from an attack. Like, you have 30%, 35 from the butterfly, 30 from the solar crest, and you got the evasion, pseudo evasion from the radiance as well. It's about 40-ish, 45. That's not that high, and for EGX, they really need an MKB to try to counteract that on their Bloodseeker, but he, first of all, just doesn't have enough gold to instantly buy it. He also needs to save gold for buyback in this game, because if EGX lose another team fight, then it's probably going to be some more structural damage. Already bottom lane is very vulnerable since that tier 3 has fallen.
How do Unknown keep their bear alive, however? As a hero, just in general, the HP pool of the Spirit Bear falls off pretty heavily, and you can't really increase that by much. The Lone Druid is going to potentially have Solar Crest applied by the Visage, but that's also going to take away the Solar Crest from the Shadow Fiend. Is there a reliable way that this team could do it?
I don't really know if there is. You could, no, that, I mean, it's mostly magical damage that's doing it, right? So maybe even just sliding the cloak over from the Lone Druid to the Spirit Bear, grabbing a Glimmer Cape. Is that something you can do on Lone Druid? I don't know, new items, and I don't play Lone Druid ever, so I think Glimmer Cape will be terrible, but also not terrible taking Rax's. Ahi teleports right into an arrow. Is there any follow-up? Bear is closing in. Surprise Bears. Ahi's gonna pop the Ghost after swapped out by Wop. But the Raxes you cannot swap out, and the Raxes will be claimed. Pain looking to close in, has Rupture available. We'll probably use it on the Bear. Nope, Bear will be Glimmer Caped out. There you go, that's the plan. He's actually gonna go straight towards the main Bear. Has the cheese though, surprise. And that's going to force Pain out with BKB and Blade Mail active. Now the Requiem from Dark Konoha going to obliterate Guanyo's HP. And that's going to be 1. Are they going to catch another Bear looking for Entangle? Soul something not quite can do on Ahi. They're looking for Entangle. But the Bear will be brought down for the up team time. Familiars though in the air and going straight for this Viper. He's dropping solo break with Pain. Going to return to this fight and charge in, but it's still Unknown taking down the Undying. They are not very healthy, however, so I do think it's fall back until Greedy decides to go in. Pop some cogs, help him disengage. Swap is not available just yet on the Venture Spirit. Over in the mid lane, meantime, Bear just got resummoned. MMZ cannot afford to lose this again, otherwise it's all going to be going to shit for Unknown. They can no longer afford to push. This Bear is going to die. That's another 300 gold for EGX. Shadow Fiend, though, he does not have that cheese. Going to grab a Satanic mid-delivery. Hook shot in onto Pain, and Dark Konoha is going to try to kill whoever he can. Not getting many shots on that Bloodseeker because of that Butterfly. He's going to get out of there pretty rapidly. Shadow Fiend showing off his Satanic. That could have been amazing if he had a if he had an MKB rather. But it seems like Unknown are going to fall back. Greedy, spotted by the Silent Circle, will be dodging that one. Pops the cogs, and that will bump a couple heroes back. TP out. That'll help him survive. Dark Konoha going to return to this fight. Though. BKB, no more Satanic, however. Just that lifesteal base is going to force everyone EGX out. They can't kill this Shadow Fiend. He's just too big.
Yeah, it's very difficult. He drops his Eye of Scotty onto the ground for reasons unknown to me. But, yeah, it's really just almost impossible for them to kill the SF, and it doesn't get any easier once you drop a Lotus Orb onto him. Maybe that's how you keep the Bear alive. Plunk that Lotus Orb onto the Bear, and every Thunderbolt that the Zeus throws at it is going to be returned in kind, which is really annoying for the Zeus, and it at least gives them time for them to hit the high ground. Even though Unknown do lose their second Bear and do lose a lot of heroes on the retreat, they take away a full set of barracks down towards bottom and a tier 3 in mid. It still is a favorable trade for them. EGX's heroes just aren't scaling well enough. They can kill the Bear, but killing up the SF, as we've already seen, is another story entirely.
And just taking a quick check at other things that the Lotus Orb can return. Viper Strike, that's a pain in the ass. Rupture, yeah, if Bloodseeker ruptures himself, it's all over, like, because as soon as you rupture, you pop BKB Blade Mail and you charge in, but then he just dies if he does that, so that is a game-losing move if EGX's Pain actually manages to land on himself. He's gonna get hook shot right now. He does not have a force stat. He has Blade Mail and BKB. He's gonna take a man with 3, but here comes the Shadow Fiend. Couple of hits of Pain. Does dig his way out, swapped out as well, and it looks like Familiars, they will not give their lives. But it is a pick-off or a potential pick-off miss by the Unknown side. They're still applying pressure to the mid lane while we speak, though. So for eGX, that survival, though very nice, isn't nearly the end of it.
No, the push continues. Arrow going to fly, and my goodness, it's Viper again. I've seen this before. The low sword popped on the Shadowfiend. He's on the high ground. What do you do about him? Chain Lightning's magic missile is returned, although the magic missile is dodged by the BKB instead of actually throwing that back into the enemy team. Probably the better choice for him as the Clockwork goes in with the Blade Mail active, trying to find somebody to jump onto. The Zeus is going to be arrowed, bounced back by the Cogs, and now he is going to be hookshotted, jamming it home with the Soul Assumption. They'll kill him off, and now the base is in shambles. Shadowfiend going to start going to town on the melee barracks, going to the enemy team either way. Buyback from the Zeus, trying to save their Viper. They just can't do it. The mini bashes are too much for the bear. They punch through the melee barracks. Buybacks galore. The Zeus is also going to, or the Viper is also going to join the fray again. Goes up to pop by the Visage. Is that even enough? BKB pop by the Bloodseeker. They do force back the Shadowfiend in closer, and this time around it is going to save Pain, but not for long as he's right-clicked down by the birds. Buyback from the Shadowfiend, wanting to get back to this fight. It's lasting forever. Magic missile into Excel. Don't bring down the Visage. Shadowfiend, where are you at? He doesn't have boots of travel, walking the hard way, but they've already lost Mega Creeps, and even if they get every single kill, is it too late?
So MNZ, I think, loses the bear again for like the 6th time or something like that. But it doesn't matter, because while that fight was happening over in the mid lane, like, you know, squabbling back and forth, looking for positioning, Lone Druid was just up on the top lane, killing Raxes like you're supposed to in this game, and there was no one there from eGX to stop them. And Lone Druid, like, he's been struggling a lot in this game to keep his bear alive. That's been a really big problem. The Raxes don't fight back, and this Lone Druid, the Spirit Bear, does have that demolished, so 40% bonus damage when attacking those structures. It is still relevant, and now he has the Moon Shards. Ooh, this is actually the first time I've actually seen this item, just because it has never gotten to this point. But the Spirit Bear rather, is attacking now hella fast, and I don't know if it matters because Mega Creeps have already been obtained. But Unknown, they are in prime position to just walk in and finish off this game. For eGX, they have Bloodseeker, who is pretty good up against Megas, I suppose, and he is, I think, going for a Divine Rapier, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to call it.
GG, well played, and we're going to move on towards the second game. We'll have to see if eGX can pull through, but I think Unknown just executed on a higher level and were more efficient around the map. I think that's really where they took this victory. They distributed the farm nicely between the Shadowfiend, Lone Druid, and Mirana, and it really was like a game of not the Mirana, but the Visage. It really was like a game of whack-a-mole. They hit the Shadowfiend a couple of times, then the Lone Druid popped up, took a couple of your towers. They might have hit the Lone Druid, and they hit his bear a lot, but